All right, our last update. Oh my goodness, and we're going through this. We're up to case 7 out of 10. Will the bottle of spumante last? Good thing it's low alcohol. All right, case 7. This is our last update. I have a little justice thing up here because it's moving into trials, but actually no trial. What do you mean? So in the last updates about the Rust movie shooting that Alec Baldwin was part of, I had told you that at first, the first change was, look, the special prosecutor that they had hired had put on this advanced gun sentencing that then his side said, look, that advanced sentencing enhancement, that was passed in the legislature after this occurred. So, no bueno. And the first blowback from the New Mexico prosecutor, the special prosecutor, was like, yeah, well, rich people think they can do anything just because you're a celebrity doesn't think. And then the next day she had to like eat her words. It was like, oh yeah, yeah, that enhancement, yeah, you're right, okay. And then the next thing that happened was, I believe I told you this, they said, yeah, but the special prosecutor is also part of the legislature, and that is 2 separate branches of government. The executive branch, like prosecution, the state government, and then the law, the legislative branch. You can't be both. I mean, I looked it up. She was not the person who like introduced and passed that enhancement law, because that would have been something. That is why this exists, that you can't be in both. You have to have separations of power, because somebody could be like, oh, the celebrity did this crime. Well, let's make it 5 years. Let's pass that law. Okay, now I'm going to go over there, that case I have, and now it just got better. I mean, you can't do that. And that's why that you can't pass this. So now all the charges were dropped. And you're like, Patty, what? What? Does that mean he's not in trouble? No. Okay. And just like I mentioned Barry Morphy before, there's all these rules about statute of limitations, and also the rules, the statutes about how long you have, the limits you have from charging somebody until like when they plead, how long you can hold them without something happening. There's all these rules, like a whole book of them. That's why you have to go to law school. There's so many rules. And then there's the cases about how the rules are applied that you have to memorize, which are different in each state and different for criminal instead of civil. It's a whole thing, which is why law school, surprisingly, is only 3 years. It should probably be more. That said, I mean, which is probably why that lady made so many big errors. They had to drop it because they were coming up on a May 3rd preliminary hearing, and what they said was that, hold on a second, that they didn't have, I like this word. I learned this from Emily D. Baker. It is called a nole, it sounded like mole to me. A nole prosecui. A nole prosecui. Nole prosecui. It's Latin. Everything in law is Latin, or most of it is. Okay, so what is a nole prosecui? Well, it's like, we prosecute you. We're not going to do it. What she said is it's really like a delay. Instead of, it literally is no more prosecution, but she said really it's an inability to prosecute at this time. So basically they have to do more investigation. Now, Hannah, I'm going to say her name. What is it? Hannah something Gutierrez. Hannah, why did I just write? Hannah Gutierrez Reed, or Hannah Reed Gutierrez. She was the armorist, the person in charge of the guns. Now her preliminary hearing, she must have waived the limitation, because she is still having a preliminary hearing, but now it's going to be August 9th, I believe. But why? Why did they not keep her May date? I think, personally, if you are following my coverage of this and what I'm getting from everybody, I really paid attention to the gossipy stuff. And at the beginning of this, there was a lot of gossip about the set wasn't being run to the satisfaction of the workers, and they were pissed. And they had made complaints, I think, or maybe they hadn't made formal complaints, but they were angry, right? And Alec Baldwin is the star and the producer, and so, you know, they're mad at him. And there was this group that also hated Hannah because she's a Nepo baby. Her dad is an armorist. In fact, she was hired because of her dad's reputation. Her dad had the prop house, and she's much cheaper because she's very young and less experienced, right? But they figure we're getting this great guy's daughter. She's learned from him. But these people on set were known to be, as far as I know, allegedly, very grumbly about her. Like, oh, Nepo baby, sure, whatever. So I think the question has been, this whole time, let me take a drink. Tell me what you think. Oh, also, please like and subscribe. All right. Who brought the live rounds to set? Now, some people said, well, people were shooting guns for practice. Okay, who? And not only that there were live rounds, who was putting live rounds in guns? Who? Hannah Reed, Whitteris Reed, I can't say her name, she had a box of dummy rounds. She loaded the guns in the prop area. How did live rounds get in there? Was someone angry? Now, supposedly the OSHA for the state, the practices of like how a business is run, the health and safety practices, wrote this big long thing of how bad everything was. Okay, but it wasn't just a mistake. Live rounds weren't supposed to be on set. Who brought them? And who got them into a prop box that Hannah used? Who? There was also like, oh, it just happened that the monitors weren't running. So she didn't even know they were shooting and using a prop inside of the church, this church, that she would have normally known. So who cut the feed? The guy who cut a deal, what is his name? Dan somebody? I wonder where he falls in this, like, people who were angry at Baldwin, people who were angry. I think there were two specific people angry with Hannah, and one of them was because she didn't get the job as an armorist, or he. So I'm telling you, the investigation, I think, has always needed to be, how did live runs get put in that gun? Was it on purpose to make a point? Maybe not to kill somebody, but was it to get back at Hannah? Was it to show, oh, you think you're so great because you're dad? Was it to be like, yeah, Alec, it's a real safe set? I think, knowing human nature, knowing that there was grumblings on the set, allegedly, I think it is a very good possibility. Like, that was the crime. Somebody decided to take matters into their own hands and make these two people who they felt could do no wrong and were on their high horses, oh, they were going to knock them down a peg, and they just happened to kill somebody in the process. Oops. That's what I think is being investigated, because that is the crime here, people. Was it done on purpose because people were so upset with Hannah, with Alec? Because it's weird that those are the two in trouble. It's weird the one guy's like, oh, I know I handed him, why was that one guy handing him a gun? I don't even think that was his real job. I think Hannah, the armorist, was supposed to hand the gun. Like, they didn't do anything by the book, and the one guy's like, oh yeah, I'll take a deal. And by the way, his deal to testify against Baldwin was for 6 months. And now Baldwin, probably, if he gets indicted, he won't be in court in 6 months. So does that run out? I don't know. That guy, his deal's awfully different. I mean, like, I want to know who was angry on the set with whom, and who brought the live rounds. That's what I want to know. All right. We shall find out. So for now, Alec Baldwin is filming in Montana. I don't know. Emily D. Baker's very angry at that. I'm not so angry because the director who was shot, I want to say Halyna. That's my dyslexia. There's like H's and L's and A's. And what is her name? Her husband settled his wrongful death suit, and he is a producer on the Rust movie, and so he is going to be making money, which I think is a good thing because it helps her family, gives her an income. He's named as a producer. I don't think he actually does anything. I think he'll just make money. So, am I interested in seeing the movie? I don't like Westerns. I am okay with Alec Baldwin. I thought he was funny on 30 Rock and on Saturday Night Live. But, yeah, do I want that family to make money? Yes. Oh, there's also a lawsuit that Gloria Aldred is like, don't forget that he's wrong and he hurt these people, and it's her mother, her father, and her siblings, of the adult director who was married and had a child and a family. And honey, was she paying your lifestyle, or is this just a money grab? Because see, being a celebrity isn't always good. Sometimes people just sue you, like Oprah was sued, Taylor Swift was sued, not because they did anything, but because they're rich, they'll throw money at the problem. Look at Gwyneth Paltrow. How'd that work? So, don't go after people just for money. It's bad mojo, bad karma for you, and, it's just stupid.